There are so many powerful characters out there, and many of them who happen to identify as women. Honestly, how am I only going to pick 10 of them? Oh my gosh. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda. Who are some of your favorite powerful female characters from comics? Let us know in the comments. And get ready, because we are about to count down the top 10 most powerful female superheroes. Let's do it. Number 10, Zealot. Originally a character from Wildstorm, Zealot ended up being incorporated into the main DC universe after DC Comics bought the rights to Jim Lee's whole Wildstorm imprint. Zealot is known for being a main member of the Wildcats usually, although she has recently been revealed as one of the newest members of the Birds of Prey. However, if we're talking about the original version of this character, she possessed dark magic abilities and skills thanks to her previous connection to Tapestry. She also possesses, even still today, her cherubim physiology, or cherubim, if that's how I'm supposed to say that. Honestly, it looks like cherubim, like an angel, but with a K, which renders her virtually immortal. She's lived for thousands of years as a result, which also makes her a pretty skilled fighter thanks to, of course, millennia of experience. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, and if you also love powerful ladies, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Who doesn't love powerful ladies, right? If you don't love powerful ladies, what's going on with you? Are you okay? Do you need a hug? Number 9, Hope Summers. Hope Summers is insanely powerful. Initially, Rogue was one of the most powerful characters I knew in regards to Marvel Comics and in regards to the X-Men. But then, Hope Summers was introduced. Hope is basically like Rogue, but if Rogue initially had more control of her powers and didn't have to go on a whole journey of self-discovery to get there. Also, if Rogue didn't need to touch people to take their powers. Hope just has to be in their vicinity. However, this also means that Hope needs to be around others to be powerful. So that's why I decided to rank her a little lower, where normally I would rank her higher, but I just thought, if we're talking about Hope by herself, alone, I don't know. So fighting Hope solo is not quite as intimidating in theory. Although even then, she is the adopted daughter of Cable, which means that she is definitely not someone you'd want to mess with, even if you weren't bringing powers to the fight. I mean, Cable is a badass, and he definitely raised Hope to be a badass too, so don't forget about that. Number 8, Nubia. Nubia! I love Nubia. She is such a fascinating and interesting character. Throughout the years, her origin has been changed somewhat, but initially, I knew her best as Wonder Woman's twin sister. Like Diana, Nubia was also born from clay in that origin and was a daughter of Hippolyta given life by Aphrodite. However, over the years, her origin would be retconned multiple times. Currently now, in the main continuity, Nubia was actually an ancient princess who, after being betrayed by one of her own, was usurped and later reborn via the Well of Souls. The last Amazon to be born this way for a long time. Something that has never changed, however, is Nubia's sheer power and her strength as a character. As an Amazon, Nubia is immortal, a gifted and renowned fighter, and has superhuman strength, durability, agility, and stamina. Nubia recently went on to become Queen of Themyscira in Hippolyta's place, and eventually even was declared Queen of not just Themyscira and the Amazons residing there, but actually all Amazons the world over, which is pretty powerful. You know what I mean? I know we're considering Nubia by herself, but if we weren't, if we were just considering Nubia's influence, she could literally mobilize all the Amazon. That's crazy. Number 7, Radiant Red. One of the heavy hitters from the Radiant Black universe is Radiant Red. I love her. She's my favorite Radiant. Might be controversial to say, but I love Radiant Red. She is one of my favorite characters, hands down, from the Massiverse. While some might see her as more of an anti-hero or even a straight up villain at times, I would say at the end that Satomi isn't really a bad person. She's just done some bad stuff. I see her personally myself as more of an anti-hero, but included in, of course, that term anti-hero is the word hero itself, so I'm gonna include her on this list. Also, you know that top 10 most powerful female anti-heroes is not going to get as much love as this list will, so I gotta hype her. Radiant Red initially appeared on the scene as a bank robber, but as we learned through the one issue exploring her character from Radiant Black and her own spin-off miniseries, Satomi did have some pretty compelling reasons for her actions. At the end of the day, she was trying to help the man that she loved, her fiance at the time, Owen. In fact, Satomi did this because she thought she loved Owen, but eventually she woke up to the realization that he's actually been manipulating her into staying with him while he mistreats and disrespects her. I love the ideal approach to her character, the dichotomy of a character as powerful as Radiant Red, who can absorb materials around her to bolster her own strength, almost like I would say limitlessly, being so vulnerable in her relationship. Her character is kind of an exploration of the idea of strength in all its forms and what that means to us. I just think it's such a cool character. Also a character that's, just a character that's so strong, but struggles in this very personal way. So deep. I love it. Number 6, Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is one of my all-time favorite characters characters. If you've watched our videos before on the channel, if you've watched some of my videos, you probably know this. And normally I would be sad to have her so low on a list when we're talking about powerhouses. But this is a list that is literally chock full of powerhouses from comics, so I feel a little bit better about it right now. Seriously, whittling this down to 10 was hard enough, and even then there are so many amazingly powerful characters that I personally regret not having on here, and even then I feel like you could actually rearrange this list for power levels depending on your opinions. All of them are so powerful. I wish they could all be number 1, which is why we really need to do more parts. There are so many women, Wanda included, who deserve a top spot for their power, resilience, and their skill set. Wanda Maximoff herself is a powerful witch who initially in the comics was believed to have hex abilities that were a result of her being a mutant. That was basically her mutant power. Magical abilities as a mutation have always intrigued me at Marvel Comics, as mysticism for the most part kind of tends to be a completely separate world from the mutants, but one that also sometimes has overlap with mutants, with some mutants being able to do magic or having mutant powers that bring them closer to the magical world. Of course, we'd later have Wanda completely separated from this idea when we learned she was never really a mutant, but simply disguised as one from a young age by the High Evolutionary. In fact, her insanely powerful magical abilities, which are at a reality warping level, come from her family heritage as a Maximoff, with her birth mother being an extremely powerful witch as well. However, if we ever wanted to make her a mutant again and make the magical abilities also kind of mutant powers, I'd be down for that. So Marvel, if you want to change it back, I'm cool with it, just so you know. Number 5, Big Barda. Big Barda is a hero from DC Comics that I don't get to talk about as much on this channel, or I just don't really think of highlighting as much as I probably should, or as much as I feel like I should, I guess. Barda is just a fantastic character. She was once a member of Darkseid's elite force of warriors known as his Female Furies, but ended up leaving Apocalypse to be with the escaped prisoner from the planet, who also became a hero, Miracle Man, who also, of course, is Barda's husband. And thank goodness, because goodness knows how much our heroes could use her skills as a warrior and her strength, and honestly, I love Miracle Man and Barda together, they're so cute. If you are a big Barda fan, fun fact, she will also be joining up with the Birds of Prey in Kelly Thompson's new volume of the series, so like me, you might also be tempted to add that to your pull. And I'm not supposed to be collecting Big Two right now. Can I make an exception for Birds of Prey? Let me know what you think I should do. I already got Nightwing and I already want to add Titans. This is a problem. DC, stop. Number 4, Storm. I mean, you all know how much I love Storm, and if you're new to the channel, don't worry, you're about to. Storm is a literal goddess who canonically gets more powerful the more people believe in her. While putting her above a fellow powerful mutant like Hope Summers might seem kind of odd to some, it's also important to remember that Storm literally fought a shapeshifter from Morocco who tried to beat Storm at her own game, using her own powers against her by embodying a version of Storm in her prime. And still, Storm bested her. So if Storm can beat someone who is supposed to be, you know, the best version of her own self, I mean, I don't know about you, but I would expect Storm could handle herself in a one-on-one fight against someone like Hope or Rogue, you know what I mean? I just mean, this is Storm we're talking about. And no disrespect to Hope or Rogue, love both of them too. Number 3, Wonder Woman. There are so many amazingly powerful women in comics these days, but one of the first women to basically start this trend, one of the first female superheroes we had, was none other than Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is Princess Diana, daughter of the Queen of the Amazons, Hippolyta. In some versions of the story, she is also secretly the daughter of Zeus. Herself a demigoddess, Wonder Woman is one of the strongest women in the DC universe, and is also just one of the strongest members of the Justice League, usually in general, I'd say. Recently, Wonder Woman was elevated to cosmic goddess level following the conclusion of the dark metal epic with the event Dark Knight's Death Metal. Seriously, I love Wonder Woman. She's one of the most uplifting characters. Initially, I didn't want to like Wonder Woman because she just seems so perfect, but then I don't know, Diana just always makes you love her, you know what I mean? She is perfect, but she's also grounded, if that's possible. While she is a badass that isn't afraid to permanently take out her foes, she's also one of the kindest heroes around, often choosing to fight against evil with her guiding principles of truth, justice, and love. But still, if you mess with her, she will kill you potentially. She's still a warrior, which I love. Number 2, Jean Grey. Jean Grey is probably one of the most powerful superheroes around. Many people know her in terms of her most powerful form as the Phoenix, or the Dark Phoenix. But in reality, a lot of the power we actually know her for actually comes from within her. In fact, Jean has even stated in the past that the Phoenix actually in a way became a part of her. So even without it, it lives within her. She doesn't need to be a host to basically tap into Phoenix power, if that makes sense. Jean is one of my favorite characters in the comics because she is also so well known for her sense of empathy. She can feel what others feel and often tries to meet people with kindness. In fact, one of the ways she defeated one of the X-Men's most vicious villains was by using the power of empathy. The villain in question being Professor Xavier's evil twin, Cassandra Nova. I mean, you know that you're epic when you can just defeat someone by making them feel emotions, and then that basically breaks them. That's pretty crazy. Number 1. Adam Eve. Probably one of the most powerful women I can think of in comics, hails from the more indie side of things. She is Adam Eve, also known as Samantha Wilkins, although most people just call her Eve. Adam Eve is powerful because she can literally manipulate matter. She could actually make herself super rich if she wanted to, literally rearranging atoms to make gold bricks or dollar bills endlessly, but she chooses not to because she knows doing so is, not right, and that creating wealth in that way could have, grossly destabilizing effects on the economy, especially if you do that in a massive scale. Every time you see Adam Eve in her costume, she actually made that costume herself by rearranging the atoms of her clothes. So cool. Adam Eve is not only able to manipulate matter around her in this way, but she's also immortal as a result of her power sets. When she inevitably aged and died, she basically resurrected herself, instead returning to life as she was in her prime. Pretty impressive. Honestly, don't sleep on Adam Eve. She's crazy. Although there are so many powerful women I would love to include on this list, that is it for this one. We are out of time, as I only get 10. Until next time, stay nerdy, YouTube.